Oh, you're there. Hi. And today, this video is just about annulment. I know when it comes to annulment, what really is an annulment, So today we're gonna discuss annulment under the Philippine law, and we're gonna base this discussions to the Family Code of the Philippines, which is the Executive Number 209. First, let me read you what is this annulment first under the provisions of the Family Code in the Philippines. It's saying here in the article number 48, in all cases of annulment or declarations of absolute nullity of marriage, the court shall order the prosecuting attorney or fiscal assigned to it to appear on behalf of the state to take steps to prevent collusion between the parties and to take care that evidence is not fabricated or suppressed. What does this one mean? It's quite long, right? Okay, so let me explain what this one means. This article number 48 under the Family Code of the Philippines in the Executive Number 209, it's saying, this is on my way of understanding, okay? So let me explain this very thorough to you. This article I am basing here in the Family Code of the Philippines. And first, the declarations of the annulment, if a parties wanted to annul their marriage, first they have to get a lawyer that is going to examine your case. And then this examination of the case includes documentations, what kind of the required document for you to be able to be eligible to apply this annulment process. So it's saying here that in applying this annulment process, all the documents should not be fake. Okay? It's like buying a luxury of a designer bags. If you're going to attend for something and then you're bringing a fake one, and then someone will gonna recognize that oh, you're carrying a fake one, then you get like a bad impression, right? It's either negative or positive. Let's go to the negative. Let's get real in this one, all right? And in the documents, if you are bringing a fake documents, including like you and your husband or you and your wife were talking about like, we are not happy to our marriage anymore, let's just go ahead and annul our marriage. Now, what are the process? It's a lot of documentations and papers. And then you guys, your husband and your wife, are gonna say, okay, who's gonna pretend to be the incapacitated in our case? Who will be the acting like who will be the crazy one? And who will be the one who committed this bad grounds, this under annulment, so that you will be eligible to get the annulment process. So it's not like that, okay? That means in this kind of conversations, that means that you guys, you and your spouse are already making the fabrications. That is what's saying here in the article number 48 of the Family Code, that every document should not be fabricated. It should not be fake. It should not be a common agreement between you and your wife, you and your husband that are going to annul because you both are not happy anymore and you have a loved ones already that willing to be wed. That's why you are willing to undergo this common agreement to get an annulment. But in the process of in the Philippines, that is not the case. Unlike you're talking divorce in this section, but we are not talking divorce in this video. So I decided to make a separate video between the annulment and divorce. So anyway, let's leave that alone. So let's go back to annulment. An annulment process between a husband and a wife should not be a common agreement, or otherwise you're gonna get tip out by the fiscal or by your attorney or by the court, because it has to be one of the spouses should be the one to file the annulment and not the two together, the husband and wife. In the court, make sure if you think that you can handle this situation between a common agreement between you and your wife, your husband and your wife, then that you're gonna make that in a proper way, in a very thorough of documentations. We all know that annulment in the Philippines it's a very lengthy process. The documentation is killing you, and then the time is the most, like, almost unbearable to wait. The waiting for you is the hardest part, I guess. And so I would like to bring up that in this, because it seems like every citizens in the Philippines should know about this, and I'm sure you all know this. If you go to Google, you can hear a lot of story in there, but as I'm saying, I'm just giving you a thorough explanations for this, so you will get a grasp of an idea of what is the process that you are going through. If you're going to start an annulment process right now, I wish you with all the luck. I pray that you're gonna get whatever your heart's desire for this process. So I wish you the best of it, and good luck. So the annulment in the Philippines is, we know that it's really hard. First, it's the documentations is like bundle by bundle, and it's really, I guess if you don't know what to do, it's really hard for you, you know. Everything in this world that is, you think it's, you don't know, it is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, you know, because first, it's gonna be easy for you to say that everything is not bad at all because you know about it. But how about for these people who doesn't have a clue about this one? Of course, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for me as well, I think. First, the documentation is quite complex. The amount of the expenses, make sure that you are ready for it. You're ready to spend that amount of money, and then also don't be shocked with the unexpected bills that is coming to you. So be prepared for that. And the other one is time. It is a really time consuming. Your lawyer might gonna say that it's just gonna be a year, but who knows, after a year your case still there. It's not even going here, you know, because for you to get this area here, you have to think all above on you. So everything is really, it depends to the situation. So it's a very lengthy process. The documentation, time, it is a time consuming. And the other one is your energy. Is your body ready to do all this hurdle? Are you ready to wake up in the morning, gather all the documents, meetings by meetings by meetings on the day, and then all of a sudden it's gonna stop the next day because you have to wait. And then the waiting again is, let's say, it's gonna be a miracle if a respond by your lawyer like within a week or in 2 weeks. So yeah, are you ready for that? Please ask yourself, do you have the budget? Because we are not just talking here 20,000 peso. Probably the lower price that you have to spend in this case is about is 100,000 pesos, and that is about 2,000 US dollars. I guess it depends to the currency rate if you're talking about the US and then the Philippines. Please, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm making my statistics just to make sure that you have enough budget for this. Aside for that, are you willing to spend your time just to gather all these documents? You might go to your own municipality and gathering this document, and then you have it, and then the next day your lawyer will gonna ask you another one, and you know, it's a back and forth of journey and getting this documentation. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to sacrifice for that? Is your body is capable of getting through this kind of process? Because I'm not gonna give you a very positive view for this. I'm gonna give you the statistics, the reality. Okay, this is not an expectations about getting a cake. No, it's not. For you to get the cake, you have to go through all this process first so that you can get the cake. Alright, so I'm not gonna give you a very positive views in this one because I just want you to know what is the reality of getting an annulment. The scrutiny is need to be scrutinized properly. You have to ask yourself, am I ready for an annulment? Do I have enough time? Our time is gold. We don't have enough time just to sit and to wait for nothing and to wait for something. But in annulment process, we have nothing to do but to wait for that documents to work on, for our lawyer to say something, when is the court hearing, when is the final decisions, and when can I get that annulment paper on my hand so that I can hold it and I could say I am legally unmarried person and I can remarry again in the Philippines anytime I want, because I have this paper giving me the authority to remarry of someone I love. Para po doon sa mga kababayan natin na gustong magproseso or magpa-annulled ng kanilang marriage sa Pilipinas, ganito po ang mga una ninyong gagawin. First, ang unang-una nyo pong gagawin ay maghanap po ng inyong attorney. Siguraduhin nyo po na ang attorney na kukunin nyo ay may alam sa ganitong kaso, which is involve annulment in the Philippines. Huwag po kayong basta-bastang tumingin lamang sapagkat siya ay isang abogado ay kukunin nyo na po siya dahil nga siya isang abogado. Kailangan po ninyong i-research ng mabuti ang abogadong ito. Ang hahanapin nyo po upang masagot ang inyong mga katanungan ay siya ba ay nakapanalo? Is this lawyers won some annulment cases? Kung nakapanalo na ba siya ng isang kaso ng annulment? Yan po ang una nyong tatanungin. Pangalawa, siya lang ba ang manggagawa ng kasong ito? If he or she has some teammates to do this annulment cases during this process. So another one, wag po kayong kumuha ng isang abogado na nire-recommend lamang ng inyong kaibigan tapos yun na kukunin nyo. Wag po. Kailangan nyo pong i-background check ang abogadong to. Kung ito ay isang recommended by your friend, make sure you check the background. Okay? Like, did he won any cases yet in related to annulment? What is his status about getting this process? It's not about status if he's married or not. Status means like, is he reliable in these cases? Is he on time? Is he good at updating you? Okay? Mga ganyang mga background check niya. Pag mahanap nyo na po ang inyong hinahanap na abogado na siyang titingin sa inyong kaso, yun na po ang time na i-email or i-contact nyo ang abogadong ito upang may paalam nyo sa kanya na siya ang gusto mong maging lawyer at siya ang gusto mong kukunin na mag-handle ng inyong kaso. Okay? After nyo siyang makontak, sa first email po na ito, itanong nyo na po dito agad-agad para diretsong usapin agad, wala nang paligoy-ligoy para hindi na tumaas. Mag-email lamang po na, or dear attorney, my name is blah blah blah. I heard about your refutations and you were recommended by a friend or whatever. And then, ito po ang gusto kong mangyari. Gusto ko pong i-annul ang aking kasal. Huwag niyo munang pangalanan. Oh my goodness. Don't mention the name of your spouse yet. Alright? And then, after nun, sasabihin nyo, ito po ang mga katanungan ko po. First, how long do you think this process will end? What are the service that you can provide to me? What are the requirements that I need to get so that we can start this process of annulment case right away? Then, Are you alone of working my case, or you a teammates of working my case? Are you busy right now, or do you have another case that you think my case will gonna be? Make your questions straight right away so that the lawyer will answer you direct to the point as well, because the lawyer has to answer your questions. Otherwise, nakatraffic lahat kapag hindi mo tatanungin agad-agad ang isang abogado. Another one, how much is your service? What are the mechanics of paying your service? Do I have to pay this one, 50%, 40%, or what is it? Okay. I-gather nyo po lahat ng mga katanungan ninyo at wag po kayong magpaligoy-ligoy. At pag masagot na ito ng inyong abogados, then say like, okay, can we start right away? What should I do? What are the requirements that I have to send to you so that you can start working my case? And then I will pay you this amount, let's say 50% or 40%. It's up to your agreement. That is yours. That is how you negotiate. It's up to you. Ang una pong gagawin ng inyong abogado ay tatanungin kayo ng mga basic informations about yourself and about your spouses. Like, saan ka nakatira ngayon, ano ang iyong current address, ang iyong pangalan, buong name nyo po talaga, ilang taon ka na, ilang taon na kayong kasal ng inyong asawa, at ilang taon na kayong naging separated, pangalan ng inyong asawa, may mga anak ba kayo, how old are your children, and do you have a conjugal property? Next one is ang income tax. Mostly, hindi to kailangan, but I would prefer you to gather all this one because the court might need this. Okay? Kasi may mga issue pong mga income tax pagdating po sa mga properties na baka sabihin ng kabilang panig na nagbayad siya or hindi ka nagbayad, kailangan mo munang bayaran to, ganito. So, dapat i-gather mo po yan lahat. At kung ikaw po ay nakatira sa ibang bansa, outside the territory of the Philippines, for example, you are in the UK, ganito po ang inyong kailangang gawin. Mag-apply na po kayo ng police clearance or kumbaga sa Pilipinas ay NBI, something like that, a criminal check background. So, kumuha na po kayo ng police clearance niyo po sa UK para po malaman kung ano ang nagiging criminal status ninyo. Kapag ikaw po ay over 6 months sa isang bansang hindi mo naman bansa, kailangan niyo po kumuha ng police clearance dyan. Pagdating po sa mga, let's say, if you are to apply in immigration status or something, kailangan nyo po talaga yan. Kaya mas mabuti na pong kumuha na po kayo just in case you are over 6 months. Kung bago ka tumira sa UK at galing ka ng Hong Kong before or galing ka ng Saudi Arabia before, kumuha na din po kayo nung police clearance doon. Kasi kailangan nyo po talaga yun para po malaman kung ikaw ba isang abuser or ikaw ba isang nakulong ka na ba or nagkaroon ka ba ng abusement issues before. Nandun po yung naka-record na po yung background checks nyo po. Kaya kailangan nyo po talaga yun. Mas mabuti ngang kumuha na kayo ng police clearance bago kayo umalis sa isang bansa eh. Kasi who knows, you need that one. Alright? So, hindi ko po sinasabi na kailangan nyo to talaga. But, kailangan nyo pong maging alerto at maging be ready to all just in case. This kind of situations. Ano pong gagawin nyo para, kung for example, nasa UK na kayo at kailangan nyo ng police clearance doon sa Hong Kong, ang gagawin nyo po is mag-email lamang po sa kanilang embassy at ipapadala nila yan sa'yo. I think you have to pay an online charge for that service, but I don't think it's gonna be too much. I think under $50 is, I think that's probably, I'm not really sure, but my speculation is like that. Better to get that one now before your lawyer will ask you that, okay? As what I'm saying, kailangan may bala na po kayong ipambabala kapag ikaw ay naubusan na, just in case. So, refill yourself. Another one is sasabihin sa iyo ng inyong abogado na kailangan nyo pong sumulat, gumawa ng notification letter para maisubmit yan doon sa iyong asawa, sa iyong spouse sa Pilipinas, at malaman niya, kumbaga ito po ay magiging summon niya na ikaw po ay kinakasuhan nyo po siya ng annulment. Ano pong gagawin ninyo? Like, for example, you were in the UK. So, first what you're gonna do is you have to write a notification letter that dear blah blah, my dear blah blah, I want this one, I want this one, I want to end our marriage, blah blah blah. So, pagkatapos nyo pong may sulat yan, you have to go to the Philippine Embassy so that the Philippine Embassy will notarize that. Okay, make it in a legal way, then the embassy will notarize that, and then that notarized notification letter, you have to send that to your lawyer to the Philippines, and then the lawyer will gonna submit that in your municipality, and the municipality will send that to your husband or to your wife so that he or she can receive this one. May summon akong natanggap at ang asawa kong na nasa UK ay gusto niyang ipa-annul ng ang aming kasal. Okay? So, ganun po yung steps na mangyayari. After nun, kailangan pong pumirma yung asawa nyo. Pag natapos niya niyang matanggap yon, may pipirmahan po siya na ibig sabihin either tinatanggap niya or hindi ang kaso na kinakaso nyo sa kanya. Kung hindi siya mag-o-object po at magpipirma lang siya agad-agad, wala po akong nakikitang problema or matatagalan sa prosesong ito. The more the defendant, which is your husband or your wife, because you are the one who's filing the process, you call yourself as the claimant, and then the defendant, which is your wife or your husband, is the more that he or she is just being laid back to the summon or to the case, the more the better. The better it is. Alright? The more less objections or no objections at all, the better for you. Okay? Pagkatapos nun ay pag matanggap na po yun balik sa korte, ang iyong lawyer po ay magbibigay ulit sa iyo ng panibagong requirements or probably your psychological exam. Ang psychological exam po ay ikaw po na kumakaso sa iyong asawa as a claimant. You are the one to take this psychological exam. Okay, you can apply this psychological exam through online. And there is one in the UK, and I bet most of the country has it. Unlike, I'm not sure in the Middle East. Make sure the psychological exam that you are taking is in English so that you don't need to translate that really and then notarize it again to make sure that it is a valid psychological exam. So another one is, once you have this psychological exam, better to go to the Philippine Embassy and notarize that again, and then send it back to your lawyer. Okay? And once the lawyer gather all these documents that you sent to your lawyer, these documents will be transported to the fiscal. Then the fiscal will gonna investigate your documents, review your documents, review your husband or your wife, and you as well. Once everything is reviewed, the fiscal will gonna call you for a one-on-one interview. This interview will include about, are you still wanted to proceed this annulment case? don't be shocked that probably the fiscal will gonna ask you like, is there any way of reconciliations your marriage? So it's up to you how you answer that. It's everything is in yours in this position, in this time of the investigations when the fiscal interviewed you. As well as the defendant will also be interviewed and investigated one-on-one by the fiscal, and the same questions to you and probably the same questions to the defendant. Is there any way for the reconciliations, for the sake of the marriage, for the sake of the child, or whatever? So again, the factors is between you and the defendant, which is your wife and your husband. So once that everything is, you think that you said yes, I will go ahead, I want to proceed the case, and then in the other option, then the better. If the defendant will do some objections like, I don't want to annul or my marriage because first my wife or my husband went to the UK to work there, and then after a few months I stopped hearing about her or him, and then later on I found out that he or she has a new lover there in the UK, and now after a year or after 5 years he or she abandoned me as well as our children, and then now she or he wants to annul their marriage so that my spouse can get married there in the UK, that's a very big negative. Okay, in that case the fiscal will gonna say, we're not gonna give you a court hearing for this because we need some investigation. So that's another delays. Okay, so like what I said earlier, make sure that your documents is not fabricated, it's not fake. If you think that you really need to get the annulment because either your husband, while you are working in the UK, your husband or your wife has another boyfriend or another girlfriend or another living partner living in your house with your children, or something like that, I'm sure the fiscal will gonna give in favor on you. However, to the opposite side, if you think that you change the story, I'm sorry, it's gonna take you a long journey for this. So don't expect to get like 2 years, 3 years, or I'm sure it's gonna be more than that. As long as your spouses, the defendant, is telling the truth against you. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Article number 48 of the Family Code of the Philippines saying that all the documents and the process of annulment should not be fabricated, and therefore a lawyer and the fiscal are the most relevant involving in this case. Alright? Another one, if the defendant in the opposite side, if the defendant saying like, yeah, it is true, I got involved with the new lovers of mine while my wife or my husband are in the UK working, sending money for us every month, and then I'm the one who got involved with someone, and yeah, I want to annul our marriage, then voila, that's perfect. Okay, but on the opposite side, you know what I mean, the fabrication should not be there. Alright, so once this interview finish, and let's say the result between you and your dependent is in a very positive result, then the fiscal will gonna recommend you for a court hearing, for a first court hearing. Then your lawyer will gonna ask when will be the schedule of the first court for the first hearing. Then either you will be there, it depends to the situation, if you think you can come on the first hearing, or the dependent will be there. If the dependent won't be on the hearing, on every court hearing, don't bother to ask to please come by. No, it's okay, it's fine. As what I'm saying, the less objections, the less presentation of the dependent, it's the better for you. It's an advantage for you to win the case. Okay, so once it's gathered and everything is fine, I'm sure you're gonna win the the annulment cases. As long as no objections, no fabrication, you are telling the truth, every parties are telling the truth and agreeing that yes, let's go annul it. That's why I'm saying to you that it is relevant for the lawyer to hopefully can give you the focus on your case. Because if, for example, he has another or she has another court hearing, and then it's gonna backlog your schedule. So it's really an advantage for you if your lawyer is just focusing on your case. And that's why it's also nice that the lawyer is has a teammates, because just in case that your lawyer is busy to another court, at least the teammates can relieve that work for you. So that's why finding an attorney is really, it's the most fragile and the most crucial part in this case. And make sure that the lawyer knows this case. Okay, don't think because the lawyer is very good at criminal law and then he'll gonna be good at everything. No, it's not like that. Every lawyer has their own field. Every lawyer has their own specialty, like a dish. Okay, I like pasta. This person might don't like pasta and don't know about pasta. Just give him fish, then he'll be fine. It's like that one. So make sure that this lawyer is expert in annulment cases, so he doesn't need to do some research and other issues. It's that every question that you are trying to, or to your lawyer, your question will be answered within seconds. All right, that is the most important there. And another one is ask yourself, are you willing to go through all this headache? Are you willing to go through to spend a lot of money in this one? Because we are not just talking about 50,000 pesos in there, and that's about $1,000. Surely you're gonna spend around 100 grand over, I think. Don't be shocked with the unexpected bills. Okay, that's why on the very beginning of your agreement with your lawyer, make sure that you ask these questions. Are this service involve traveling fees? I mean, all the documentation that needed. That's why you have to be straightforward, or otherwise you're gonna be shocked for another email for one day, or your lawyer will gonna email you like, you have to transfer me this amount for this such thing. Okay, so that's the very important there, that you have to be direct to the point when it comes to how much is the charge. All right, so you won't get shocked if referred for that. And when you apply for an annulment, ask yourself, are you willing to do the time? Are you willing to wait? Because this annulment process is a time consuming, not just about you process today and the next month is done. No, you're not talking about here weeks, you're not talking months, you're not talking year here, you are talking years, as in plural. It's not just a year, it's plural with S on it. So that means 2 years, 3 years and more. All right, before you start for the annulment process, find out what are the requirements, and that's the time you're gonna look for a lawyer. All right, so you don't need to wait for for another weeks in this case, because it is a time consuming. All right, so these are the 4 questions for yourself that you have to answer before you start getting an annulment. And I want you to prefer first. Prefer yourself. Ask yourself, am I really ready to get through this, or should I reconcile my wife or my husband? Or it's up to you. My next blog is about divorce and giving you the options, either you're gonna go for annulment or not if you are outside the Philippines. Hopefully I can see you again in my next blog about divorce. And please, if you have any questions, please write down and I will try to answer as much as I can. If you think you get a beneficial knowledge for this and you get some benefits, please do share it for those people who need this one. Marami pa po tayong pag-uusapang mga pagdating sa mga legal issues. Ang aim ko lang po sa vlog na ito ay ang maibigay ko lang po at maibahagi po sa inyo ang aking mga nalalaman. At willing po akong sagutin ang mga tanong na bumabagabal sa inyo, and sasagutin ko po hanggang sa aking makakaya. Sana po ay may natutunan kayo sa usaping ito, sa video na ito. At sana po ay magkita-kita po tayong muli sa susunod po na vlog ni Legal Matters with Yen. At ito po ay tungkol sa diborsyo. Divorce pagdating po sa mixed marriage or sa hindi man po mixed marriage. Dahil po makakakuha ka po ng diborsyo kahit po na ikaw po ay nagpakasal sa kapwa mo Pilipino. So hindi ang pagkakaroon po ng diborsyo sa Pilipinas ay hindi lamang po dahil sa isang mixed marriage. Kung ano po ang ibig kong sabihin, ito po ay inyong kailangang abangan sa susunod ko pong video. So, sa ngayon po, ako po ay tumatawag ng inyong pasansin na sana po ay inyong maibahagi ito sa iba ang video ito, at mag-like po kayo at mag-subscribe po dahil marami pa po kayong matututunan sa channel ni Legal Matters with Yan. Bye! Legal Matters with Yan, sign out.